This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Hi, Bill. How you doing? What's going on today? Just a regular old-fashioned National Signing Day, right?
It's a legalized bag day is what we have.
You know, Matt Jones just brought up the idea that, and I had not seen this story, I guess it's Drake May from North Carolina being offered $4 million by either one or two SEC schools. I've got one school specifically that I'm thinking of. They wear maroon, and they like to talk about gigging frogs and things like that might be interested in this. That might be one of those things that you're referring to. You know, we had Chuck Barrett yesterday said he smells a rat. You know, I think he's referring exactly to what you're talking about. This is not necessarily the way that that NIL was designed, but it is what it is now, right?
The old adage, if you're not cheating, you're not trying, is true now, and the great thing about it is nobody cares. Nobody polices it. I don't believe the numbers. I think agents and people throw numbers out just to create a marketplace that's fake, and maybe they can up the number just by virtue of that kind of publicity. So I doubt the validity of the numbers. Like Nico Iamaleava, who hadn't played it down at Tennessee a year ago, reported he was getting $8 million. I don't believe that. But people get money, and I think some are probably getting six figures and up.
Yeah, are there any big surprises to report about today as far as who signed where that comes out of right field?
Oregon. Now, I don't know if this would be a surprise, but speaking of Nike money, Peyton Bowen's been committed to Notre Dame for a year, a five-star safety out of Denton, Texas. He flipped today. People thought he was going to flip to Oklahoma. He flipped to Oregon. Oregon also got other good news today that was maybe a bit unexpected. So today has been a banner day for Coach Dan Lanning heading into year two, getting players that, again, we know the reason why, but I don't know if it was predicted as accurately. But Peyton Bowen's the big name.
Are there any more dominoes, like when you're looking at, that are going to fall into place, like certain teams that kind of have the first pick, and then you're going to see maybe like a team like Arkansas get some more players?
Oh, I think so. And we do need to clear out these bowl games, and then kids are going to maybe already mentally checked out, but after a bowl game, we're going to have people make decisions. And even though we've had some quarterback announcements, Devin Leary, et cetera, that was big. I think productivity-wise, he actually did better. I don't know that he's considered the same pro prospect as Levis, but this kid absolutely stuffs the stat sheet, and he's a fantastic quarterback. Had a little bit of a down year. That's a huge pickup for Kentucky. But the kid, Grayson McCall at Coastal Carolina, who might be the best available quarterback, had made a decision. He's still going to play in the bowl game, even though he's in the portal. And you still have Sam Hartman at Wake Forest and others. The Tulane kid apparently staying home, but I don't know that we've had the huge domino effect with the QBs yet. Notre Dame needs a guy, and Hudson Card's still out there, the Texas quarterback.
Yeah, I wonder the same thing. And when you look around these bowl games, you wonder how much they mean. They meant a lot to me as a player. And you're looking at around when I'm watching these, you don't see a lot of fans in the stands, and maybe we get to some of the bigger bowls. We will. Are there some of these bowl games you're interested in seeing some of these teams play?
Oh, I watch them all to a certain level of excitement. Sometimes not. I mean, when I watched Florida's effort, I checked out of the Oregon State game. I mean, That was just awful. It was so bad. I think Tennessee Clemson's interesting. And, Tennessee got a couple of first-round receivers opting out. Clemson's got some D linemen opting out, and they're going to go with their star young quarterback. That'll be fun. And Joe Milton is, at least until Nico Iamaleava takes over, they're going to give him the ball, and he's not accurate at all. So I want to watch that. So that's one, I think. There's several that are interesting, but I think that one stands out. Notre Dame, South Carolina, games like that.
As far as the Razorbacks in Kansas are concerned, what are your thoughts going into like what you would see with Arkansas's defense and Arkansas's offense? Would you like to see them keep it simple? What do you expect to see out of this Arkansas-Kansas game?
I just want to see consistency. I mean, again, bowl games don't predict anything, good or bad. But I do want to see that. I want to see him play solidly. I do think they'll be motivated to play. I don't think that'll be a problem. Kansas is very well coached. I've known that coach for a few years since he was at Buffalo. It's a physical team. I think their team total that you could have bet this year was 2. So they well exceeded that. They're not Kansas State, but they're a coming program and a historic laughingstock, right? But very well coached. And I think that game right there, guys, you know I love the tough guy description. That's a tough guy ball game right there. Kansas is a tough guy football team too.
Yeah, they're excited to be there. That's for sure. I was looking at going over some of these quarterbacks that are going to be going into the draft, and I didn't know that Bryce Young is under 6 foot and under 200 pounds. How much do you think that hurts him when he's looking? I mean, because you had Russell Wilson, Drew Brees, you got some of the shorter quarterbacks, but they're kind of a little thicker. Do you still think he's probably the number 1 overall pick?
Russell Wilson's, 5'11", 220. Kyler Murray's 5'10", about 215. Bryce Young's closer to 5'10", 180 than 6 foot 200. I'm not kidding. And he does not have the frame to weigh, unless he just looks awful. He can't weigh 210. I think he's maybe another 5 pounds. He's got a phenomenal arm. But you know better than anybody in that league, I don't care how good you are at quarterback at running, they're going to kill you. And his body, I don't know if it can hold up. He's going to be a high pick, maybe top 10, maybe top 5. I would take Jalen Carter. If I had the first pick, I'd take the D tackle at Georgia before I would take, and I like Stroud and I like Young and Hooker and whoever, but I would take the D tackle. I think he's a dominant player in the NFL. He's a freak from another planet on the interior defensive line. I'd take him before Will Anderson.
Yeah, you get into those spots, you want to take somebody that's going to translate and be proven. And, man, it's tough. And you look at the quarterbacks in the last few years, and even just 4 years ago, some of them are out of the league. It's super tough. So Harbaugh gets TCU. And he's the toast of the town up there at Michigan. Any way that he messes this up against TCU and doesn't make it to the national championship game?
Going to have to be very benevolent. He's going to have to be in the gift-giving mood. They're a straight-at-you football team. That young quarterback is playing better and better and better every time we watch him. And he's a former 5-star. They aren't going to have quorum, but their running backs that play are fantastic. Had one go for 180 yards or whatever with quorum out in the Ohio State game. Their defense, -2, incredible defensive linemen, high picks from a year ago, probably is playing better. I just don't see it. I don't think TCU physically holds up in this ball game unless it's just a godforsaken Michigan performance. I just can't.
And that other game, that Ohio State Georgia game, do you think it could be a Michigan Ohio State, or you think there's just too much in Georgia's? They got too many Jimmies and Joes.
I know. Look, the audience wants somebody that's pragmatic, but I told you guys this: the only thing that gets me worried if I'm thinking about the Georgia angle is the football gods do not like repeats. They just don't. I mean, I've seen incredible teams, Southern Cal, Miami, not repeat. And Ohio State does have the one thing where Georgia is human. They have a quarterback that can throw for 1,000,000 yards, and they have receivers running over each other, all Americans. And that's a tough matchup. So if Jalen Carter, who you just heard me brag on, and that front don't get to Stroud, there's your shot. That's it. I think that's the game right there. If they're disrupting him, then Georgia wins probably double digits.
Yeah, football, the bowl season's only going to pick up. It's always on in the background then when those Final Four get here. Hey, did you check out any of that World Cup, Bill?
No, I'm one of those American dudes who never got it. I never understood it, you know. Everybody else around me likes it. I just never got it.
Yeah, it was theater. So what goes on? What do you got going on Christmas at the Bill King household?
Put on about a 20-pound brisket the night before, or late evening before, and then have it ready for dinner. And then probably my wife's favorite thing is watching all the kids open presents. I've got 7 of them. Some of them are out of town, but they'll be in town. And so it's a day we accumulate a lot of trash, and we eat quiche and a bunch of other stuff for breakfast. It's a good day.
I love it. Well, Bill, man, thank you. Merry Christmas, and thanks for always coming on here at halftime today.
You too, Matt. Appreciate it, man.
Football is back, and BetOnline remains your number one source for all your football betting needs this season. You'll find the latest odds, matchup info, player news, and game trends. And as your continued source for all sports wagering info, BetOnline features live betting, free contests, live scores, and giveaways all season long. Always the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports and events like MLB, MMA, tennis, boxing, and even golf. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive your 100% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. Bet online, where the game starts.